Hey guys, welcome back to the Giovanni Show. Today, it's just two bros being bros on a podcast here. Me and Connor coming at you again. Bro, Brandon Graham had his last training camp of his entire career today. It hurt my heart. It hurt my heart. I was so sad seeing that. But you know what? I'm excited for the season. BG is going to go out great. I'm excited, man.
I know like Jason Kelsey deserved a ring the way he went out. Man, Brandon Graham deserves a ring, bro. Like, that Super Bowl force fumble against Tom Brady, like I'm never gonna forget that for the rest of my life. Like it made such an impression on me. And like the one thing about Brandon Graham that separates him from like Jason Kelsey and Fletcher Cox, in my opinion, because and this is no disrespect to them whatsoever, or to say that they weren't like this, but Beachy's more community oriented, in my opinion, than because those guys all do different things. Like Fletcher Cox hunts, and he has his own racing brand. Like he does stuff with racing the cars and stuff. JC Kelsey has his podcast. He's becoming an analyst. Like yeah, he doesn't have time. You know, he's doing some other adventures right now, and he's gonna be on Monday Night Football. But with Brandon Graham, bro, he walked up to me at like Eagles training camp and took a selfie with me, like no problem at all. Like he just saw I was wearing his jersey and like was like, oh man, we gotta get a picture. Like they don't really make players like that anymore in the league. When he finally goes, I'm just gonna be just as sad as I was with Jason Kelsey, just because not only did he represent Philadelphia so well, but he was the definition of an underdog story. I don't know if you remember how his career started off with the Eagles, but it was nothing but, oh, we drafted the wrong guy. We should have took Earl Thomas. Brandon Graham's never making any impact whatsoever. And once they finally gave him his opportunity, he shined with it like crazy.
And he hasn't stopped shining since. Jaylen Herz threw his first interception today at practice. To Darius Slay, obviously, I think Slay was obviously more excited than Jaylen was about it. You know, Slay, I just gotta say, Slay's press conferences, the past few press conferences, have to be the funniest thing. Today,
Or
him
he said no
saying,
Diddy. Yeah,
he
he said
said
no
no
Diddy.
Diddy two times. Two times in a press conference today. First off, love Slay. Great play by Slay today. I do think that it kind of bothered Jaylen, which I personally love to see. I love that it instantly made an impact on him and he wanted to change from it. But I know a lot of people, on Twitter, when any little thing happens, a lot of people have a breakdown. People being like, oh, Jaylen Hurts is going to have this going into the season, having his last training camp practice, and he's going to start off the season rough. Jaylen Hurts is already learning from this, ladies and gentlemen. He took that and he immediately started learning from that interception, and he's never going to throw a pass like that in season this year like that. So first off, I just got to clear up that because I've seen too many people on Eagles Twitter crying today. I know this podcast is going to drop on Friday, but we're recording this on Wednesday, the last day of Eagles training camp. I think Jaylen Hurts is going to shrug it off and be brand new this season. I don't know about you.
Last year was an anomaly of his football career. He was never really turned the ball over like that as a football player back from Alabama to Oklahoma up until in the NFL. So, I mean, 15 interceptions wasn't really, him. It was really a stagnant offensive system that was so predictable. I mean, some of it, I'm not gonna say some of his interceptions aren't his fault, but he's very smart with the football. He's always been very smart with the football throughout, way before he was an Eagle. I don't really take much stock into the training camp no interceptions thing. If anything, it makes me worried about the defense. I'm just gonna be honest with you. It makes me worried about the secondary and the defense of why are they not getting interceptions? Like he can't be this good in practice.
Yeah.
Practice is all about taking chances. You don't care about stats in practice. Like this is taking chances. So we say, oh, is this gonna work in the game or is it not gonna work in the game? So I don't. The stats to me don't really matter at all. But it's the fact that number one, Jalen's never really been like that in his football career, so I don't expect him to throw many interceptions this year. I'd be shocked if he gets double digits again this season. I think at most he'll throw 11, but I'm expecting like 7 to 8 interceptions this year from him at most.
Yeah.
Especially in this system that's just so quarterback friendly. I don't think he's going to throw that many picks this year. There's going to be no opportunity to do so. There's going to be so much space with AJ Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert in there, and he's going to have a great season in this Kellen
Also,
Moore
running
offense.
running the ball more with Saquon Barkley is going to
That
help as
too.
well.
Yes, exactly. You're absolutely correct. He's going to have a rushing attack that he can lean on every single game because of Saquon Barkley. And I not just Barkley. Let's give a shout out to Kenny. Kenny and Will Shipley have been having some really great camps before. Will Shipley's looked good in the preseason. Kenny's having a great camp. So I mean, they're going to have probably the most reliable rushing attack that they've had. I mean, again, the Super Bowl season, Miles Sanders did very well, but I'm looking as like a group as a whole. This might be crazy to say, Gio, But given the talent that Saquon Barkley is and what he's going to bring to the offense, and I do trust the depth this year behind running back. I do. I think these guys can contribute. I think Kenny can contribute, and I think Will Shipley can contribute because everybody forgets Kenny's a grinder. Kenny can get the tough yards when they're needed. I think this running back group can be reminiscent to 2017 with Ajayi Blunt and Corey Clement. I think they have that nucleus in place, and really the main reason is because Saquon Barkley and his stardom carries those two, no matter what that they do. I think it's gonna just make Jalen's job so much easier. As we talked about that last episode. I just don't expect many interceptions from him. What I am curious about is that we have a secondary that struggled to get turnovers last year, as is, and now they're not getting any in practice. So you really thought, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was going to be the reason why we start getting turnovers again because he led the NFL in interceptions last time he was an Eagle. So you hope that he brings that element back to the secondary because they sorely miss it. I'm going to be truthful, and it might be an overreaction. We'll see, but I'm a little concerned that the secondary is once again struggling to make turnovers when they already had that problem last year.
Always our issue, unfortunately. I know you talked about Kenny though, and I just want to go back and touch on that. Me and Kenny have kind of grown closer through this off season, and we've made kind of more a personal bond. And he told me something was going to be different this upcoming season, and I completely believed him when he said that, and we're seeing it. I think Kenny last year, all of the drama of him DMing the guy back during halftime, he's moving past that and he's becoming a better player for it. He's really diving headfirst into soaking up all the knowledge from being around Saquon and just becoming a better back altogether, which is super exciting. I love seeing that. It's going to be exciting seeing this whole running back room this year.
He's also in a contract year, so he's probably not going to get re-signed by the Eagles. So he's playing for his NFL future right now. So there's going to be I agree with what he's saying. I think there's going to be a different Kenny this year because he's playing for his football life.
Next, I want to go into this. I know I texted you earlier. I was like, is there anything you want to talk about on the pod? And you came up with the best thing. These rookie quarterbacks, man. These rookie quarterbacks who have gotten the starting jobs. Let's talk about it, bro. First, let's start off with Bo Nix and this Broncos team.
Yeah, I think that was the most no-brainer rookie quarterback to start this season, which is kind of crazy to say considering the fact that Caleb Williams was number one and Jaden Daniels was number two. But Bo Nix it was a 6-year starter in college. I mean, what more do you need to see from this guy to know if he's starting for you or not? And I mean, Jared Stidham and Zach Wilson are not NFL caliber starters. So see what you have in the young guy. But that was just the no-brainer move by Sean Payne and the Broncos. I mean, they really have nothing to play for this year with given how bad their roster is. So find out what you have in the quarterback. Don't waste time.
They really have nothing to lose. And like you said, I mean, this is really just a season to look at how they can build around him. And that's the most exciting thing for me when I look at this Broncos team is I'm excited to see how he performs, who he leans on, and how they're going to start building around him because the Broncos really have found their future, I think, at quarterback. They just need to
Oh, you're a Bo Nix
start building
believer?
I've been a Bo Nix believer, seeing him at the combine and the draft and everything like that. It's pretty evident that this guy wants it. So I think he's going to go out there and get it.
And Jaden Daniels, again, I think it was a no-brainer move too. I mean, Marcus Mariota has starts underneath his belt in the NFL with the Titans and all that, but yeah, it was a no-brainer move too. Because I mean, Jaden Daniels he was at Arizona State. He had NFL coaches at Arizona State, and then he goes to LSU and Brian Kelly's system. And I mean, that's just it's an NFL 2 machine. You're ready for the league at this point. So that was a no-brainer. And then Caleb Williams was also a no-brainer. I mean, all they have in the Bears depth chart really is Tyson Tangent. I mean, they weren't going to start him over Caleb Williams. So, I mean, there was no reason for them to waste time. But I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Bears are going to have a top 5 offense in the NFL this year, which is, that's pretty big to say for a rookie quarterback. But I mean, come on. That running back room, they have DeAndre Swift now that they just got from the Eagles last year, who had a great year at the Eagles last year, but he's also a receiver at the same time. So I think that's a great element to their backfield. They have Roscoe Johnson, who I really liked at Texas. I think he's a good running back too. But I mean, look at the wide receiver trio. They're the best wide receiver trio in the league. Keenan Allen, Roma Duzier, who I think is going to be an exciting rookie out of Washington, and then DJ Moore. You can't get much better than that. Cole Kmet's a good tight end too. The Bears O-line isn't as bad as it used to be. I actually think the Bears are going to be really, really solid fundamentally on offense this year, which is kind of crazy to say because throughout my whole entire life and throughout years, the Bears have been known as a defensive team.
Yeah, that's what I was just about to say is I feel like my entire life the Bears have been cursed and now it's looking up. So I'm excited for this offense. And like I said last episode, I know I kind of touched on it. Caleb Williams being so humble, and I think that's what's going to take him far in this league. And I think we'll see that on display this season, especially when we see him making some of those less selfish plays and getting the ball evenly distributed to all his guys because he has so many weapons on offense, like you said, and being able to lean on a guy in the backfield like DeAndre Swift is just it's something that I will never take for granted as an Eagles fan because having that last year was a dream come true. So I'm excited for him.
What are your thoughts on Jaden Daniels? Because if you ask me, I hate that he's a commander, but the NFC East really needed this. I mean, it's been a Dak Prescott, Jalen Hurts division for a little bit now. I want to see some, the NFL needs more marquee quarterback matchups. So to have what I think, because I think Jaden Daniels is a special player, I think he's going to be great with the Commanders. So I'm excited. I look forward to the competitiveness between Jalen Hurts and Jaden Daniels becoming must-see TV quarterback matchups. And not just those two, but throughout the league with all the great quarterbacks in this league. So I think he's going to be great. What do you think?
Yeah, I think Jaden Daniels has a great opportunity here, especially because when you look at this offense and you look at a guy like Zach Ertz, former Eagle legend, who can pass on the football knowledge to Jaden, it's something that I think is going to be really special for him because as Zach doesn't have as many years ahead of him in this league, I think he can pass on a lot of knowledge from being a Super Bowl champion. So I think he's just going to be in a great group. Obviously, going against one of the best teams in the league, the Eagles twice a year is also going to help him get to a higher level and kind of snap him into this is the big boy leagues now. So I think it's going to be exciting. I have to put my Eagles fandom to the side here and be excited for him. I think he's in a really good environment that can build around him.
I agree 100%. I mean, they need to get to fix the offensive line, but he's the start to what they can fix. I agree.
Bro, the Bengals and the Cowboys just holding out on their star wide receivers. Bro, what is happening right now?
It's just the wide receivers' time to get paid. I mean, AJ Brown, Armon St. Brown from the Lions, and then Justin Jefferson, of course. I mean, and that's not even just it. Those are Tyreek Hill just got paid, Jalen Waddle just got paid, Devontae Smith just got paid. It's the wide receivers' time. And I mean, I know this Brandon Ayuk drama in San Francisco is kind of delaying everything else, but I mean, if you're the Cowboys, you have nothing to lose. Like you have to pay CD. Like, he's it for you at wide receiver. Brett, what are you going to lean on? Brandon Cooks, who's at the end of his career, and then Jalen Tolbert, who hasn't really proven himself yet at all. I mean, it makes no sense that they're even dragging this out with CeeDee Lamb. You pay him what he says, what he wants on that check, and you don't ask any questions. If this is Howie Roseman, right? CeeDee Lamb is in camp right now, happily paid and ready for the season. Not getting dragged out all the way to almost week one, and him still not wondering if I'm going to get paid or not. I mean, I don't understand how the Cowboys go about their business. I mean, you have Dak you have to pay, you have CD you have to pay, you have Micah you have to pay, and you're just kind of letting it go to the last minute. And when you let things go to the last minute in the NFL, players hate that and they leave or they don't feel loyal to you and they want to get out. So I think that's just silly that they're even in the situation they're in. I would just pay them.
That's why the chemistry in that locker room is always messed up, and that's why the Cowboys never go anywhere, and they always kind of get to the playoffs and immediately get eliminated. It's because
Well,
the chemistry can't be there when you're constantly wondering if you're not going to get paid or not.
right, how can you build a culture within an environment if you're not confident in the people that are creating the culture to take care of the environment? It's just not possible. So I mean, I think that's one thing that I love about the Eagles. And I mean, has it translated to more success than the Cowboys in our lifetime? No, but it's at some point it's gonna keep coming. Like you guys keep going this route with because no matter what, even when Jerry Jones dies, his son's inheriting the team, and his son's learning from his dad of how to handle a team right now. So they still have decades to go with how they're handling this. I mean, Howie Roseman has set a great culture here and has shown guys once you give us the hard work and once you show us the hard work, we will reward you.
Yeah.
So you can't be mad at it. But to focus on the Cowboys situation, I mean, CeeDee Lamb's one of the best wide receivers in the league. Why are you wasting time? Just pay him. If he walks into your offense and says, "This is what I want," you don't hesitate. You just give it to him. I mean,
Yeah.
it's your fault you waited this long for all those other deals to get done to where he can say, "I want the most in the league." That's your fault, but you just pay it no matter what. And then the same thing with
Yeah.
Jamar Chase. I mean, I think the difference there is Jamar's got 2 years left on his deal with the Bengals on his rookie deal, and he just wants to get paid already. So I mean, Am I mad about the Bengals taking their time with it? No, because they have nothing but time with that situation. The Cowboys do not. So I mean, the Bengals need to focus on T. Higgins first and foremost and figure out what they're gonna do with him because he's playing on the franchise tag.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for Jamar, you're gonna have to take a little back seat for this until we can figure out what we want to do with T.
Yeah, and I don't know if you saw, but I sent you MLF football was reporting that Jamar wanted 160 million with I think it was 140 million guaranteed. I mean,
Yeah,
he's a star. He's a star,
he's one of
but
the best wide receivers in the league.
that's a lot of money here though. So with the Eagles versus Green Bay coming up, obviously the thing I'm most worried about is the traveling and how that's going to affect the guys. So I gotta ask you, I've been waiting to ask you for when we came on the show. Do you think that the traveling is kind of gonna affect how this team plays and how the start of the season goes?
I think Brazil is gonna. The Eagles, unfortunately, have been prone to slow starts regardless, and I don't think any this year's gonna be any different just because they have two new systems that they're implementing it and they're doing it on the go. The starters in the offense haven't really played that much this preseason so far, so it's gonna take time regardless. So there's gonna be bumps in the road that are already projected, but I do think going to Brazil and then the other away games that they have coming up, it's gonna take its toll. But again, this team is very young. It's not a very veteran like lacing team. It has mostly youth across the board. So I think that helps the most when it comes to that. So I think it will be a hindrance in some shape or form, but I don't think it's going to stop them from winning games.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think like you said, the Eagles are going to get off to a slow start just with the two different things in this team, the defense and the offense kind of switching it up. I do think though that once the chemistry gets right on offense, then the defense will follow suit after. But I think this defense is gonna look really rough coming out the start, to be honest with you.
I think
Like
they
we
finally got like an a-hole coach to like roast that because I mean Jim Schwartz was one of those too. I
yeah.
mean Jim Schwartz never had an incredibly talented secondary with the Eagles. He didn't, but he made do, and the bend and don't break mentality worked with that defense. They're gonna need the same thing here. They're gonna need Vic to be the same type of defensive coach and do the same thing.
Jaylen Mills, baby. Oh,
Oh, so yeah, you're
I
gonna
had to shout
announce
out my boy.
you're announcing to the pod real quick that you want Jalen Mills back as an Eagle.
I do. I want him back. Bring him home. Bring him home, Howie. Bring him home.
They just released the Tyler Hall today on injury settlement, and he was the one holding down 31. 21's gone too. 21 Sonny Brown.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, 31 just opened up for him.
Come on. Come on. I'm telling you, bro. Come on. But guys, I appreciate you watching this show. I appreciate all the support last week on the show. Really means a lot. We love seeing the show grow and we appreciate you guys watching us. So once again, thank you for letting us come into your homes every week, talk football. We'll be back next week. We hope to see you guys here. Go
Football's
Birds!
football's almost back, baby. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Go Birds!